Hello brothers and sisters, welcome to another episode here on Dangerous African Confessions HD. In this episode, we have a confession from our brother who had already shared with us about the secrets behind the rings that our prophets do wear. Remember you asked for his own confession, and we have it here. In this video, he talks deep about his involvement with the occultic group and how he managed to have so much money, just as you said we should get from him. He said something that caught my attention. He said that money is blood and blood is power. So to attain some form of power and money, then you have to exchange or sacrifice blood to attain that. This video is not to suggest that any person out there who has his money and is doing well is from the occultic background. But it is for us to understand what goes on that we do not have the chance to see. To understand this whole thing and get to know the truth behind all that he wants to share, let us go and listen to him. And please don't forget to subscribe, like and share this video so that others can listen to it.
Brother, let me start by saying this, that money is blood and blood is power. So to attain some form of power and money, then you have to exchange or sacrifice blood to attain that. And one thing that people actually do not know or understand is that everybody do have something that we call your higher self. This higher self, even animals and plants also do have that spirit which is called higher self. At least that is what we call in our fraternity. But then, others call it your spirit guide or your godlike in you. That are all the same thing, but with different names. So what we do understand is that your higher self is full of riches and all that is supposed to make your life here in the physical realm a better place for you, that your higher self has it in abundance. That is how the Creator has done or created all living things. But the problem is that, when you don't have the knowledge about your higher self, and the things that you have to do to have those riches manifest in the physical realm, that is where you start going around, and consulting other people and things for you to have whatever it is that you are looking for. The main reason why I agreed to talk to you again, is to have your listeners understand this very point, and try hard to know how to attract the things from that higher self. I may have done things and I am at this point of my life, but it doesn't mean you should also go through this same process that I went about getting my money, or doing the things that I am doing. Do you remember I told you the last time that I will tell you and your listeners something beautiful that they should pay attention to very well? That is what I just said to you. If they pay attention to their body and their inner self or their higher self, everything they want will fall in place for them. You see, there are some things that as a person, you will learn them late in your quest to find money and all that you are struggling to achieve. But it doesn't mean that, when you get to know that very truth in life, you can't share with your brother or sister. I certainly wouldn't want to advise anyone to also go through the same lane that I walked. I know that it might not lead them to a perfect situation or destination. So, my whole involvement to this group started when I had lost everything that I had. Even though I didn't have so much, I still had something small that I had started life with. And everything seemed to be perfect, until I lost it all. So, to tell you, when I started with this group, I didn't have anything to my name. Again, let me say that, I am not praising anything to anyone out there. And I don't intend to influence you to anyone, but my own humble small way of letting people or opening people's eyes to what they do not see. By the way, I was doing retail work. And what I was retailing was rice and oil. Though I started from a very small way, in about a year, I got a shop and from that point I knew I was now on the road. I didn't have the capital to go outside of the country to bring in my own goods, so what happened was that, the woman that I was taking my goods from, was the one who was bringing in the rice and oil from outside of the country, and I would go to her and also buy from her what I can afford. I wouldn't say I was that close with her, but because I was a customer, she sometimes called and find out how work is going. Something that I realized she does to almost all her customers. So it happened that I had gone to take goods from her this day and had stocked my shop. The next morning at dawn, I received a phone call and it had to do with my shop. The news was that the shops on that stretch, where I also had mine, had caught up with fire. I rushed to the place and before the fire service came, everything was gone like that. We had lost all that we had in the building. It was about 8 shops or so that the fire destroyed everything in them. Everything I had was gone just within that few hours that I returned home to sleep from the shop. I didn't have enough money to even use as deposit to take other stock. I told the woman about the issue and she told me to take time and work things out. She was so calm about the whole issue. She told me that she was not going to worry me, since she knew about what happened to the shop. At least with that gesture, she had taken away a little bit of the burden from my shoulders. But then, how was I going to get back onto my feet? It took me about 6 months, and I had not been able to raise enough capital to start again. That was when I went to the woman to explain my situation to her. I wanted her to give me some of the goods on credit to start all over again. And use the profit I would be getting to pay off some of the debt that I was owing her. She would tell me today to go and return another day. It happened for several times, and I asked her why she really didn't want to do me that favor. At least, she should be open about it to me. This was when she sat me down and told me that she does not feel comfortable to give her goods to me, because she feels things might go bad again. I honestly didn't understand anything she told me that day. I took it as she just didn't want to help me out. So I went home and decided that I was not going to go to her again for such help, but would struggle to find something else to do. It was during that period that I was not going there that she called me one day to meet her when she closed from work. You see, in this life, you only allow people to see what you want them to see. That is just how most of these companies and big men in the society operates. This woman that I am talking about, every Monday morning, her workers will gather and pray for success before they start work. So I never imagined that there was other side of the story that she was going to reveal to me someday. That is the same thing some of these pastors go about doing. When they go for their powers from wherever they will go for it, they will then talk about and preach in a way that you will never suspect their source of power. That day, she told me that she wanted to help me if only I would allow myself to be helped. I told her I was ready for any kind of help she wanted to render to me, if only it will help me get back to where I had gotten to. I knew her to be a member of the Anglican Church, but that day we had a lengthy discussion. She told me that she will one day take me to see her spiritual group if only I want that. I told her I am afraid of all these blood rituals and all that. She smiled and told me that, in this life, if you don't risk it, you will never make it. This statement she made has been with me all these years. That night I honestly couldn't sleep. She told me that it was my own choice. If I wanted to be living the life that I had wanted or if I wanted to continue to experience disappointments. I tell you, that night was like an all-night service for me. I couldn't sleep. I thought about all the things she told me during the meeting. The next day I didn't call her, and she also didn't call me. For almost about a week, and I had not called her. So I think it was about the third week that I told myself that, if even a lady has been able to visit whatever that place is, I can also go there. So I called her and I told her I was ready to follow her to the place she told me about. She had a series of talks with me for about a week more, before she finally took me to this place. Like I said, as far as I know, when you start from the scratch in our fraternity, the rituals that you make are something that are normal for anybody to go through with it. That is where the deceit comes in. You see, don't tell you what goes on in fraternities like these ones, okay? There is nothing like you joining these fraternities and becoming rich or powerful just by joining them. It is never true in this life. Because you will have to make a huge sacrifice that will pinch you in a way that it will affect you, before you can become who you really want to become. When you start, the rituals are blood sacrifices and all that, things that you should do and not to do. But when you are growing and you are moving higher in ranks, your rituals changes, and then the higher you go, the heavy the rituals becomes. So when she took me to the place for the first time, I was shocked, my brother. Come and see for yourself these young ladies I met over there. This was the list of the things I thought I would see. But then, seeing all these ladies there even boosted my confidence about going through with whatever it is that I was supposed to do. It was this house that we entered. When we got into the house of the compound, the place looked calm and peaceful. We entered the building which looked like a very big house like that. But then, when you enter, it's more like, there is no rooms in the building like how the other buildings that you built. It is only the outer designs that makes you think that it is a house belonging to someone. But when we entered, it was just like an ancient Catholic temple with divisions as far as where people do sit is concerned. One thing is that newcomers are allowed to sit in one place, where the already members also moves to their respective places. The woman had this time briefed me about some few things. Exactly what she told me is what happened. We were led to wash our feet and then we were given a book which they refer to as Holy Book. This is not Bible, but then it contains all the book of the Bible and additional books also. The leader who was leading us took us through reciting most of the pages that were needed for us to recite. After that, we were ushered into a room one after the other, and in this room is where you will place your hands on a very ancient book and then pledge your allegiance. I am sorry, there are things I cannot really talk about here. But let me say that, after finishing with all that was necessary for me to do, I needed to make a sacrifice. This is where I was asked to buy 5 sheep for my rituals. The woman made a promise to pay on my behalf. So, that very evening, the sheep were brought in and the sacrifice was done for me. There is a room that you will go naked and sit on the floor in front of this altar that is there. And then the blood will be poured from your head and on your body. After which I was asked to place my hand on the altar and swore again to be faithful to the orders of the group and the powers there is. I did all that and that was it. It seemed so normal to me and I was happy. I thought that, if this is what it takes to be rich, then I was going to call on some few friends that I knew to also come and join. So after about 2 years of becoming a member of the group or fraternity, I began to experience a speedy increase in my finances that I was totally shocked. Joining them, I knew and believed that I would become rich. But then, I didn't imagine how magnitude it was going to be, in just some few years like that. The woman made me start with her rice and oil that she gave me. In less than 6 months, my business was booming like that. So within that 2 years, I was also importing the rice and oil together with the woman who introduced me. So about when we entered my 3rd year into the group, the first sacrifice was demanded from me. And I was supposed to give or put out real blood as my sacrifice. This time around, the blood of the animals were not needed again, and I needed to go a step higher. I really wasn't to skip the details of these very things and just summarize it for you. In a space of about 5 years, I had sacrificed 2 people from my family. That is my own son and my father. This is the sacrifice for my wealth. And when I sit down to think about this whole thing and cast my mind back, I feel I have done so much to my family and I owe them an apology. But then, how do I go about it, without losing my very life also? So this is my own story and the sacrifice I had to make in order to get to this stage of my life. I would like to stress again that, never assume that there is any free gift as far as things of the spirit is concerned. Don't let anyone lie to you. With the kinds of deaths that are going on or happening on churches nowadays, open your eyes very well before you join any church or any group in this world. Understand everything that goes with the group before you decide to join them. Thank you, my brother. Let me leave you.
Thank you. Don't forget to please subscribe, share and like our videos. Kindly hit the notification bell so you will be the first to get notification to our videos when we upload. Indeed, I believe this story of this our brother will serve as an eye-opener for some of us, who when we get into situations, we always seek for quick and short-term solutions. Maybe, if he had waited for a little while, maybe his help would have come in a very good way which wouldn't have needed any sacrifice of family members. Like I always say, these are not just stories for story's sake. They are meant for us not to make these mistakes our brothers and sisters are making. That's why we share these stories with you. Just like we always do in this house, please let us also hear from you, our beautiful family members. Let's listen to your views and concerns and comments in the comment section. Yes, just as we are here to share with ourselves what is going on out there, we do bring these conversations with you, our family members, to help their innocent brothers and sisters to realize what is happening out there, that they do not have any idea about, so that they can make their own decisions going forward in their day-to-day activities. Because the way the system has been, if you don't take care, someone will pretend to be the savior that you need in times of need and troubles. But then, they themselves will at the end of the day put you in a place where you so much have no idea in the first place. Be wise, my brothers and sisters. Because like he said in the beginning of his conversation with us, nothing in this world is for free. We shouldn't be deceived by this flashy lifestyle of the people that we see as a sign of them being chosen by our Maker. I just hope that we honestly take the important lessons from these stories to better our lives and decisions. Stay blessed and be safe. Thanks for being a part of this growing family. Kindly share your thought with us in the comment section below. And if you are new here, please subscribe, like and share.